Jay, that's strangely close to Daniel Jones from the Giants. Daniel, is that you? Beat the Chiefs. Show me. If the Broncos and Russell Wilson can show me that they can beat the Chiefs, then I will start believing.
And the crowd up. And so are this defense, and Kansas City won't snap the ball again. The Denver Broncos have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs.
Dave Montgomery on the Lions, former Bear, gonna make this his revenge game for sure. David Montgomery gets the touchdown that ices the game. No! And there's a flag. There's flags. There's flags. There's flags. There's flags. Snap, hold, kick.
Denver wins! Denver wins! Let's go!
They open! No!
What happened? Oh, shit.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Only Football Tonight. We continue our division previews and predictions, and tonight, this week, we are doing the AFC West. Chiefs, Broncos, Chargers, Raiders. Kyle's a Denver fan, so I think we may have a clue as to what he's going to pick, but that's what we got tonight here on Only Football. So let's get it.
Up rolling right, throwing back at the end zone. Cortland Sutton, touchdown Denver.
Rolling right, throws deep. God, touchdown! Come on! Oh my God, touchdown! Come on! Under pressure, Caleb throws in the end zone and Kamek catches it. Oh my God! Oh my God! Touchdown!
Oh my God!
Oh my freaking God!
They kicked a game-losing field goal. I've never seen this before. They kicked a field goal as time expired, so they would lose by 7 instead of 10.
And the offense is out there right now. Are we going for it, Ben? Snap, hold, kick.
Denver's going to the AFC Championship!
Denver.
Let's go!
It's just hilarious because, like, there is no penalty. The game's over, you know? That's all he knows to do. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Only Football. This is going to be our best podcast this year because we're going over the Denver Broncos, not the AFC West, the Broncos. I'm always excited about this because I feel like the whole offseason, you probably feel this way too. If you're a big fan, you watch the mainstream media and they just have the most lazy talking points. And I got to say, like, I think if I wasn't such a big Broncos fan, like, all of mainstream media could have gone undercover my whole life, and I would have never noticed that they don't really know what they're talking about. It wasn't until they talked about the Broncos. I remember hearing a life lesson about this where if you like go to a school, let's say you get transferred to Hawaii and you're like, I'm going to pretend that I'm a surfer, and you get around people that actually surf, they're going to sniff you out in like a minute, right?
Oh, yeah.
They got their own lingo. Yeah, you just know.
Yep. Sexuality's weird.
What?
Nothing.
Joe Burrow? What?
Joe Burrow?
So I actually, funny rabbit hole, MLF football posted Joe Burrow and his girlfriend at practice. And I want to unfollow this page because everything they post is like, why do you just like, you're like,
funny, though.
Here's what's going on. Now here's something controversial about it. But it's so subtle it shouldn't be controversial ever, right? It'll be
Yeah.
like, oh, this is Tyquan Thornton. Tyquan Thornton was having a Hall of Fame type career, you know? And it's like, oh my God, no, he wasn't.
His season is one of the best in the history of the NFL.
Yeah, so they just did this with Joe Burrow and his girlfriend. Like, Joe Burrow and his girlfriend on practice. Joe Burrow's girlfriend's pansexual. And I'm like, would you do that with anybody else? Like,
Andy Reid, heterosexual.
loves a hamburger. Loves a good hamburger. I don't know.
Little too much, but you know.
Is this
so
guy
cool.
getting laid? Let's be real.
Let's ask the hard-hitting questions here.
But anyway, so yeah, if you're a fan of a team and you really know what's going on with your team and you turn on SportsCenter and like maybe it's something lazy like, oh, they don't realize that you guys have the answer for what they're deeming a problem on live air.
Yep.
Or maybe they don't realize that one of your players took that step late last season, but overall it's not remembered, with the greater part of the season being a player underperforming. I think of Bryce Young 2 years ago, where he had that good late stretch and then he was kind of forgotten about a little bit. And then last year was like, oh, what is this? It's like, we saw what this was last year, you know?
Yep.
So all that to say, this is kind of therapy for me. And because I don't know if you saw this, Rick, but with everything going on, the Bo Nix winning the most football games in the last 2 years of any quarterback in the history of the sport, with the, I don't know if you remember, we had Devon Bailey, a 7th-round pick. We traded him right before the season started last year to the Saints. Well, we turned that 3rd-round pick, I think it was actually a 5th and a 6th, or don't quote me, a 4th and a 5th, something. We turned it into Jonah Coleman, the pick. We turned into Jonah Coleman, Washington's running back, Washington State Huskies. So he's going to be, I mean, his comps are like J.K. Dobbins. We trade for Jalen Waddle. And this thinking was like, look, Sean put up on the screen, he's like, if you take every team and you line up, and guess what? We're going into the Denver Broncos, it sounds like right now. If you take every team that won 14 one-score games, Denver was in 14 one-score games last year.
Yeah.
The average record of that team was 4 wins, right? Now, what Denver did last year will probably never be done again. They won 14 of those games.
Yeah, that was wild.
This is the only reason people have Denver regressing, is because the thinking is, I can't hate on it entirely, because this was my reason for not picking the Chiefs to win the division last year, was because I said at some point those Roosters are going to come home. And I think this is the year where it catches up to them. What is their answer at wide receiver? Newsflash, I have the same question this year. But I just think like this is the reason the media has kind of turned their back on Denver. And it has to do also with the lack of belief in Bo Nix to a certain extent. It's like, yes, the defense is great, but what they did last year was nothing short of a miracle. And lightning will not strike twice. And Mahomes is back. We can focus on that as well. And plus, I mean, Justin Herbert now has Mike McDaniels as his offensive coordinator. So, you know, it's not like he's going to be able to just kind of cruise his way. This is maybe the toughest division in the NFL. I get all of that. But the reason Sean Payton's been so adamant about putting these graphics up in the locker room is to say that you're right. We're not going to win 14 one-score games. And that's why this year we want to blow teams out. Like, this is our thing this year. We don't want to be in one-score games. And if we are, we probably will regress. But this is why Denver brings in Jalen Waddle, is they say, what do we need in the building to maybe go from winning by 3 to winning by 10? Or
even more, 14.
Or 14.
17. Yeah.
Exactly. And the answer was obviously a true, like, elite. And look, Jalen Waddle is elite. And people are like, oh, he's not who he used to be. How do you know? How do you know? I mean, with the way Tua was playing last year, how do you know that that's Waddle?
Yeah, exactly. And he's what? He's still in his 20s. Like, it's not like he's older.
Drafted in the same class as Surtain, I'm pretty sure.
I think so. I'm gonna look it up real quick to see how old he is.
But yeah, it's like, look, whenever a quarterback or
27.
what'd you say?
27. So yeah, like
27?
like
Oh, his
yeah,
age.
his
Okay.
age. Yeah.
I'm like, Rick, that year hasn't been drafted yet. That's next year.
Good try though.
Yeah, 3.5 gold stars. But no, I think like Tua obviously fell apart last year.
Yeah.
Did you? I mean, has anybody watched the Dolphin games? I mean, he's like, he can't see. And it's funny because there was a press conference where Tua missed like a wide open receiver. And I don't know if you remember this, but he said, I couldn't see him. Do you remember this? It was a big deal.
That sounds so familiar. What sounds the most familiar and what I almost remember is him missing his receiver. I don't necessarily remember what Tua said about it, but the way he missed his wide open receiver was like, oh, that seems like a Bears quarterback the last before Williams kind of throw. You know what I mean? Like it's just out in the open.
Well, this is what he told the reporters. He just said, I couldn't see him. You know, he went with honesty. And it's funny because Sean Payton just inducted Drew Brees into the Hall of Fame. And Drew Brees said in his speech that they were looking at game footage like the day after a game, and they paused it and they said, why didn't you throw this to this receiver? He's wide open. And Drew Brees said, I couldn't see him. I didn't see him. And then he said that was like a defining moment of his career, because he said it was at that moment that I decided I was going to need to be great in this league. I was going to need to play the quarterback position differently.
Yeah.
And I told myself, like, that will never come out of my mouth again. Like, there are people that get it done and there's people that don't.
Yeah.
No one cares about why. And I thought, wow, that's exactly what Tua did last year. I hope he had that, you know, come to God moment that Drew Brees had, because otherwise I don't know what's left for him. But all this to say, like, everybody, when they at Broncos camp would say, what do you think about Jalen Waddle? Their eyes light up.
Yeah.
Like, if you watch the team as close as I do, you know when they're faking it. You know when there's genuine passion.
Yeah.
And when I get genuine passion from Surtain, like, you know, this guy is amazing. Like, he's truly remarkable. Like, I'm going to believe all these guys and not forget Jalen Waddle was like a 3rd overall pick. I mean, this guy was drafted insanely high. So this is the secret weapon. And now the last thing I will say before I let you spin for a little bit, but Sean Payton giving up play calling to Davis Webb. Rest in peace, Bill Harton. Bill was a big believer in Davis Webb. And I remember when we got him and he was telling me about it, and I'm like, yeah, it's cool. You know, it's a quarterback coach. I don't know how pumped I can get about it, but I mean, he put him on my radar. And then he's like, you got to think all of the success Bo Nix has had, you know, a lot of people attribute it to Sean Payton, but Davis Webb is the other part of this. I mean, and when you talk to Bo Nix, you really get an idea of how instrumental Davis Webb really is to the needing, like, you know, it's like your coach is yelling at you, and then you have like that leadership that can be your friend where you can like almost bitch about Sean Payton. Like, you know, like you need like a buddy in leadership, if that makes sense. And that's kind of what Davis Webb was for Bo Nix these last couple of years. Like, you don't agree with a play call, he has somebody he can talk to without having to worry about it leaking to the media or the team, or maybe get his perspective on what he would have done, you know. So like they became very close, and just as close as Sean Payton and Bo Nix's relationship. And that's well documented. Everyone loves to talk about it. Well, this year, Davis Webb's going out and interviewing for head coaching jobs, and Sean calls him, and I've heard him say this like 3 times when he's talking about signing or regaining or restructuring, and he says, we can't let this guy leave our building. And this is how he felt about Bo Nix, and this is how he felt about Davis Webb when he left for his interview. So what does Sean do? He calls him and he does something that I don't think anybody could have anticipated. Of all coaches, this is the equivalent of waking up and hearing Andy Reid will no longer be calling the plays for the Chiefs. I don't think people realize how big of a deal it is for somebody of Sean Payton. Sean Payton was just in the AFC Championship. So it's not like, you know, we won 7 games last year. We need a change. This was like, no, we're good, but like I'll do whatever it takes to keep this guy in our building. So he tells Davis Webb, you called the plays, and I'll be here as kind of like he compared it to driver's ed, how like, you know, they got the foot on the gas and the brake pedal on their side, but you're driving over here.
Yeah.
And Kay Adams just did an interview with us last week, and she's like, I don't feel good about this. Like, can you help me feel good about this?
Yeah.
And I thought, man, that's the question we've been hearing every time Sean's interviewed is like, I don't feel good about this. And you know what? I just kind of had this like revelation about this whole thing. And I'm like, everybody doesn't feel good about it because of the high regard that they hold Sean Payton in.
Yeah.
But isn't that kind of an oxymoron? Because if the guy that you think so highly of is saying, hey, this guy is special and I will step down I don't want to stunt his growth because this guy is the next big thing. This is Sean Payton saying that. This isn't just any opinion. This is Sean. So it's like, on one hand, Sean, we trust you so much because you're such a great play caller. On the other hand, are you sure? You know,
always with the "Are you sure?" Yeah.
So I'm so comfortable with this. I mean, there are so many times where I'm watching the game and I'm like, what is Sean doing?
Yeah.
And then he was honest about it. One of his interviews, he said they asked him, they're like, how can you get rid of play calling? Like, you're Sean Payton, that's your thing. And he's like, I don't like it as much anymore. Like you're in the AFC Championship. You need a touchdown drive. It's 4th and 3. You're on your own 40, and you got to come up with a play. He's like, when I was 38, he's like, boom, I had a play call. I was, and he's like, now it's just a little more like, am I sure? And he compared it to driving in the rain as a grandpa.
Okay. So he's getting old.
He's getting old, and he just, but he has so much. He's a culture builder, dude, and he has so much.
Yeah.
Like, you can provide so much without calling plays, and plus, Sean's still going to be designing plays, like all that. So
yeah, he's the architect.
Yeah, I mean, nothing is going to change offensively. Besides, we're going to go no huddle more. There's going to be more pre-snap motions that Davis Webb's implementing. I think we're going to see our tight ends like Evan Ingram more involved. I think we're going to get less boring screen passes, and we're going to get more Bo Nix kind of under center and in shotgun doing kind of unique things. Because what did we notice? Every fourth quarter they came back, but they were going up tempo. Sean never wanted to go up tempo for whatever reason. There's the resting the defense. There's a lot we could get into, but everybody that was watching was like, why don't they just play like it's the fourth quarter for all 4 quarters?
Yeah.
And it seems like part of what Davis Webb is here to do is to play like it's the fourth quarter for all 4 quarters. And that's something that Sean couldn't quite get the team to do. The defense is going to be tremendous. I mean, they're probably going to break the record. If not, they're going to come close to the 84 Bears, and they were on pace to do it for a lot of last season, and then they just couldn't get it done down the stretch. And, I mean, they drafted last year's first round, Jahade Barron, in the first round. But he was the Jim Thorpe, best cornerback in the nation out of the University of Texas. He didn't even get on the field because Jaquan McMillan was playing so good.
Yeah.
And Riley Moss was just better. So this year he's looking at playing on the opposite side of Surtain. We're getting players back from injury, like our safety. I'm blanking on it. Brandon Jones, we're getting him back. But what's really exciting is we have some players up front that are going to really jump off the page. And just remember this name. If you play fantasy football for offense, Rick, everyone's saying like who's going to be the wide receiver 3 because it's going to be Sutton is the 2, Waddle's the 1, who's going to be the 3. And it's like, is it going to be Mims? Is it going to be Troy Franklin? Is it going to be Bryant out of Illinois?
Oh, Pat Bryant. Yeah.
Pat Bryant. Rick, Pat Bryant might be the number 1 by the end of this year.
Whoa, really?
Yes.
Ooh, all right. I like
Pat
that.
Bryant is going to blow up this year as one of the league's top 15 receivers. And it's going to be fun to watch. This is a major breakout coming for Pat Bryant.
I like it.
And these are the type of things that if you're not a fan, you're like, oh, how are they going to do it again? They're going to tear it all down. They're going to do it totally different. That's the answer. It's not going to look like last year. They got J.K. Dobbins back. People forget he got injured like week 6, but he was like top 3 in rushing yards, and he was number 1 or number 2 in rushing yards per attempt. J.K. Dobbins is a baller when he plays. The thing is he doesn't play full seasons. Well, Rick, I don't know if this matters to you, but he pinky promised the press and Broncos fans he'd play every game this year.
He did a pinky promise? He can't go back on that, dude.
You can't. And
you can't go back on
we left practice with trainers 2 days ago. And luckily he was back on the field today. So hopefully whatever that was, it doesn't count.
Dude, training camp stories like over the last few days have just been just depressing. I mean, especially as a Bears fan, but I'm sure across the NFL, it's always the worst. And that sucks for J.K. Dobbins because, like you said, he doesn't play full season. At least, but
we didn't know.
But you still are always like a little bit like cautious, right? So I wanted to say with Sean Payton giving up the play calling duties to Webb. Let's say. Because this is actually
back on. There we go. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
There you go. Because this is actually one of the things that I was like, I had read, I had heard on podcasts or like, TikToks, NFL TikToks and stuff like that, that while this is like a big step for Peyton to do that and Davis Webb to kind of have these play calling duties because he was doing head coaching searches and, you never know, right? Like you never know what's going to happen next offseason. Do you think, though, let's say the first 4 games, the offense looks not good under Davis Webb? Is there any chance, in your belief, that Sean Payton kind of takes the reins back for play calling and is like, hey, I get it. Like, like it's not a negative on you, but let's just see if we can get this back on track, right? Like from Davis Webb.
Okay, so it's not like a yes or no, but it's like an A, B. If Sean did that, we would never know about it because Sean would never tell us and we would never know. But B, no, he wouldn't do it anyway. People forget Vance Joseph gave up 70 points in his 3rd game with the Denver Broncos. And everybody was like, he has to be fired. There has to be accountability. You can't lose by 70 and keep your job. And Sean was like, this is our guy. We're riding with Vance Joseph. And you look at us now. So Sean's not a knee-jerk reaction, type of guy. So, I mean, and on top of that, to be honest, like the last 3 years, we've started 0-2 or 1-3, like every year Sean's been our coach. And then, around October, November, we get hot. We're not a September team. Hopefully that changes this year because we have a gauntlet of 6 playoff teams in a row to start the season, including the Rams in Seattle and the Chiefs in Arrowhead to open the year and the Chargers and the Jags. So it's going to be tough. We can't really start slow. But if we do and the offense doesn't look good, Sean's not going to do anything besides help him come up with a better game plan.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was thinking too. I was like, even if, like you said, even if there is a bad start offensive wise, right? Like Sean would take over in quotes, right? One, you wouldn't know about it more than likely. And two, it's more of like a, hey, let's work on stuff together, probably, right? Is kind of what I would assume the approach would be as someone who, like you said, like for him, who's been calling plays for damn near 2 decades, it's a big thing for him. So, and especially if he's going to want to pass it on. The other thing I like about Denver too is they're basically bringing everybody back. The only who was it, Myers Franklin, that you lost
John
in the
Franklin
offseason?
Myers.
John Franklin Myers, yes. And then the other thing that was like news for maybe like a week or less was Cooper and the thing going on with him earlier this offseason, right? So those are really the only two
positive, though,
biggest question marks.
Positive news about the Jonathan Cooper, because when we first saw that, it looked like he might be cut from the team.
Yeah.
There was like strangulation accusations. Thank you. But what we just found out, Jonathan Cooper went to rehab for a month, and it was like mandatory, but then he volunteered to stay until OTA started, which was obviously a good move, maybe a PR one. Don't know if it's genuine. But then we got more information from a court hearing where we found out, per the police report, Jonathan Cooper was not the aggressor. Which changed the way we didn't know that until then. So,
but did he still bite the iPhone?
I don't know. And I think it's like one of those things where like, it's like so the legend of it is bigger than what actually happened.
That was so funny.
I mean, dude, we got dogs on defense.
That's the best way to look at it. We got dogs. We're gonna bite your kneecaps.
Yeah, like this is just who we are, and it's like big dogs gotta eat. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Hey, man's gotta eat. I love it.
But honestly, it was a very serious situation, and it was one where it's like, damn it, because it's like this is our second, third, four. Damn, we got a good defense. I'm like Zach Allen, Surtain, Benito. My point is, like, he's not somebody that is like, oh, he can go and we won't feel it. We'll feel it. And you just like, you always hope, like, if one of these scandals happens, you don't have to be torn between a player that you like. You can just be like, oh, that guy's a piece of crap, and you cut him. But in this case, I'm glad I didn't, this is why you shouldn't jump to conclusions, because this, like, last hearing just gave us so much more context. But for a while, like, Broncos country was really quiet about this, because they're like, there's a 20% chance Jonathan Cooper's on this team when we kick off.
Oh my God.
And now it's like, he if he was going to be cut, he would have already been cut. And now that we got this context that he wasn't the aggressor, and he went and to the rehab facility, and he's trying to better himself, they would have already cut him if they wanted to. And I'm sure the team knew more about it than we did, and that's why he wasn't cut. But for a while, man, it was like
like touch and go,
and we couldn't come out and support him either, because
no, you can't. But I guess I hope they can laugh about this as NFL preseason. Steelers beat the Packers 28-9. Losers.
How many rushing yards did Wilson have? I'm already gambling.
I don't know. They don't have the stats up. I love it though. I hope they can find this funny in the locker room where they're like, "Hey, no, don't nobody have their phone around Coop." Have their phone around Coop. But yeah, regardless of those two things, those two players, right? Like the offense, the defense is basically the same. I know you guys did you guys pick up that your safety in the offseason?
No, we had Brandon Jones for 2 seasons now, and he's finished as like top 5 PFF graded safety.
Gotcha.
So he's an elite safety. We got him from Miami a couple years ago, and he's been and honestly, the best safety duo in the NFL, I would say, is Denver with Talanoa Hufanga and Brandon Jones. It's insane that, because when we got Jonathan Greenlaw and Hufanga came, and I remember saying, if just one of those is a hit, this is awesome. And it wasn't Greenlaw, but Hufanga.
Yeah.
Wow. 49ers gambled that he was not going to be the same after his injury.
And he was pretty damn good.
They were very wrong, and now we have Hufanga and Brandon Jones on this defense. Come on.
So and like the defense, like you're like they're already just elite. They've been consistently one of the best defenses, honestly, since for the last 3 seasons easily, right? Ever since the whole 70-point thing, the season after that happened, they've been elite. The offense too, obviously Bo Nix comes back. I know he had a couple surgeries after the broken ankle after the AFC Championship game, and I don't know, I haven't really heard anything negative about it. The thing that was strange was like the 2 surgeries or like the 3 surgeries that he had. It's like, oh, you had this, then you had this one, then you had that one. And it was a little strange over the offseason, but it was also after hearing a lot of people, seeing a lot of things, it's like, okay, it's an ankle. Sure. It's not the craziest injury, especially for a quarterback, that you could be like, if you're going to hope for one, you're going to hope for something is like low grade in terms of breaking a bone is an ankle, right? Because the things you hear where you're like, you can definitely come back from this, no problem. So Bo Nix, I mean, he's just going to continue to elevate. And then the running backs for you guys, right? With J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, I feel like
and Jonah Coleman too now.
And Jonah Coleman, I think you're kind of hoping one of R.J. Harvey or Jonah Coleman really steps it up, because like we said with J.K. Dobbins, it's like, man, when he's on the field and he's running the ball, I mean, we saw him ever since he was on the Ravens and then he went on the Chargers. He's awesome. He is a dynamic back. It's just, can he stay healthy? And I don't remember a season where J.K. Dobbins has stayed healthy.
Yeah.
So I think, so I'm thinking, R.J. Harvey, Jonah Coleman, one of these 2 guys can really step it up, or even like really become like a really, really top running back group, which is something that, the Denver Broncos have just lacked in terms of like, who can you really count on in this running back room over the last few seasons, right? And that's either because of the production has not been there or injuries, because J.K. Dobbins, like you said earlier, was like on track to be one of the best running backs last year. So, you really hope that one of these younger guys can really step it up. My money's on R.J. Harvey, but Jonah Coleman can come in and, do damage, I'm sure.
R.J. Harvey, I don't know if you remember this, but when J.K. Dobbins went down, it was R.J. Harvey's job, like fully. And the only substitution was Jaleel McLaughlin.
Yep.
And Jaleel McLaughlin, while averaging like 6 yards per carry, he was so susceptible in pass protection that he couldn't get on the field much. And then R.J. Harvey wasn't great in pass protection either. This is what was so miraculous about that game against the Bills, because Pat Bryant and Troy Franklin were out in the Buffalo game.
Yeah.
There was no Waddle. And Cortland Sutton didn't have a catch till the 4th quarter. And then you're going against Buffalo's number 1 ranked passing defense in the NFL.
Yep.
And you have no running game to like be like, well, you got to respect the run and then open up the pass. Like, and Bo Nix still should have had 4 touchdown passes, but one of them was dropped by LaJordan Humphrey.
LaJordan Humphreys, I remember that. Yeah.
But they had no running game. And really, when J.K. Dobbins went down, it was like, well, we kind of learned, like, R.J. Harvey, like you're saying, take the next step. To me, that looks like him, like, just continuing what he was doing in the passing game, but getting better at pass protection and maybe getting another yard per carry. But to think like R.J. Harvey's going to be like this 3-down back, this is not what he is. And it's okay. It's like Reggie Bush wasn't this with New Orleans either. And Reggie Bush was a big part of them, getting to the Super Bowl. And it was just like he has a role. But Jonah Coleman is so good in pass protection. And this is why they drafted him, because he's like a J.K. Dobbins, where he's going to – dude, I don't know if by the end of the year J.K. Dobbins isn't just like the starting running back and R.J. Harvey is just coming on the field for like passing downs and J.K. Dobbins is hurt. I hope not. But I just think like that's kind of how I look at it. I'm not giving myself like maybe R.J. Harvey can become, Jahmyr Gibbs. It's not going to happen. Yeah. But it doesn't matter. R.J. Harvey is so dynamic in the passing game. that if you utilize him right, he's going to help this team in a massive way.
Totally. I agree with RJ Harvey, like you were saying, like, or with Jaleel McLaughlin. Like, that's why you guys were just struggling. Like, he was just, pass protection was rough for him. Wide receiver wise, you bring in Jalen Waddle, which is the biggest splash of the offseason, honestly. And like you said, like, we have known who Courtland Sutton has been over the last 4 seasons. I mean, honestly, ever since we started the podcast, and it really did take him a little bit to really become like known. And most of that was because of the offense under Russell Wilson, unfortunately. And it was just kind of like, yeah, he's known for these big time catches, but because you have Russ at quarterback, it's not very consistent. But now you got Bo Nix, who really over the last couple seasons is really kind of let Courtland Sutton like be who he's always wanted to be, or who he's always like has been. But the addition of Jalen Waddle was huge, man. And this kind of almost goes hand in hand with Sean kind of giving up play calling duties, right? He knew the offense needed some tweaks. He knew the offense needed something, because there was too many times, and kind of what you were referring to earlier, there's too many times in games where it's like, how are we not moving the ball downfield early, first half, time into the third quarter? He's like, we need something. And, Lil Jordan Humphreys drops a touchdown. Pat Bryant can't stay on the field. I forgot the other wide receiver you guys got. Troy Franklin, while he has that connection with Bo Nix, like he's still not there yet. He's still, a rookie or second year, whatever it is. So it's still not there. Sean knew that you guys needed that number one. He knew that you needed to do the play calling duties to give it to somebody else. So he's like, it's good to see that when you can realize something that is like keeping you back from success, because we got to remember, if Bo Nix doesn't break his ankle in the AFC divisional game, the Broncos most likely are in the Super Bowl, right? Like if that doesn't happen. So he knew there needed to be something that needed to get done. And, it shows that he's actually trying to improve, and that's bringing in Jalen Waddle. That's giving up play calling duties. So I really like where the Broncos are at, man. I mean, the line too is really good, especially in pass pro. Evan Ingram does need to get more involved. It just seems like, man, you guys have had like the worst luck in terms of like running backs and tight ends, like in the 2020s. Like it's just, you guys can't really win there. But hopefully with Evan Ingram and a new play caller and all this other stuff, Jalen Waddle kind of opening up the field, maybe now you can start to do something with him. So I'm hoping all of this just kind of like continues to move forward in terms of like success on the offense. But if it's like last year at all, Kyle, if you're in 1-score games again, and you're talking about fourth quarter comebacks again, aplenty, when do you start looking at this offense and being like, okay, where's the problem? You know what I mean? Like if that happens, obviously if success happens because of all the changes, great. All the changes that needed to be made were made. But if it kind of starts to look again, kind of like last season where you guys are like just hoping to score, more points, obviously in the first half and the first whatever, like who are you looking at?
Oh, I think people also, by the way, Ginja in the chat. What's up,
Ginge?
I think people also have selective memory about how the parity of the NFL last year.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Every game was close pretty much. There wasn't many blowouts. And if Denver would have lost half of them, we wouldn't even be talking about this. But because they won all of them, it's a problem. So I don't know. I kind of take that into consideration. Don't get me wrong. The real problem was playing down to the Commanders, to the Raiders. Matter of fact, it seemed like every non-playoff team we played was a 1-score game, with the exception of Dallas, who we blew out. But I guess to answer your question, it wouldn't be until December, because I look at the first 6 weeks and I expect every one of those games to be a 1-score game.
Yeah, that was the other thing with the schedule. It's just
like, I'm not going to be like, we didn't blow out the Rams. We didn't blow out the Seahawks.
Yeah, because
we couldn't go to Arrowhead and win by more than 3. And to open up the season in Arrowhead, that's going to be a tough environment. I don't know if I'm even going to be having these conversations until way later. And and to be honest, I just want to get through this stretch with like a if we can
Preseason.
win 3 of our first 6, I'll be happy.
Yeah, because and that was the reason I bring it up, is because that was the thing that was like with the Broncos to me was like, okay, it's awesome that these 1-score games are being won. And it was like the same with the Bears. It's like, oh, just tell Caleb Williams there's 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter and you're down 10 points. And it's like, fucking, we're going to turn it on and we're going to win this game, right?
Yeah, because Caleb hasn't tried that already.
Yeah, exactly, right? But it's just like, that's the thing with the Broncos last year, where I was like, they have such an elite defense, but it's like, where's the problem with the offense, and where's the fix, I guess. But like I was
honestly,
saying earlier,
at times it was Sean's play calling. At times.
yeah. And I think again, that's kind of what I was saying earlier when I was like, at least he can identify where he needs to do tweaks, where he needs to do additions or subtractions.
Yes.
And
this is
yeah,
what
the
Bill
schedule's going
Belichick
to be
couldn't
tough.
do. He couldn't adjust. He couldn't. He didn't. And Nick Saban too. They didn't know how to coach the new wave of talent, right? Because this is an entirely different generation of Drew Brees, and now you're coaching, Gen Z, and they actually, Adams just asked him about that, and he's like, I think like you have to, as a teacher, you have to learn like whatever the best way is to like reach your players. You have to adjust to them. They don't adjust to you. And it's like, Sean is such a culture builder. Like, it seems like a lot of people don't like Sean because of the Bounty Gate stuff. Mm-hmm. But when you talk about people that played for him, I've never heard a bad thing about Sean Payton from somebody that played under him. 100%. And I think he's just like, even after like a bad look, the perfect scapegoat for the AFC Championship was Jared Stidham. And Sean was like, it was on me. I should have kicked the field goal to, you'll never hear him be like, yeah, it wasn't his best game. He won't even do that. So I think the players want to play hard for him. But I think, to your point, what makes Sean able to last this long in the league is his ability to adjust himself and say, am I giving my team the best chance of winning by calling plays? Or is this guy right here our ticket to the Super Bowl? Because what I want more than to be the play caller? I want another effing ring. Mm-hmm. And Sean, man, you talk about the pass interference that didn't get called in the NFC Championship.
Oh my God! Yeah.
You talk about the Minneapolis Miracle.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you talk about Bo Nix breaking his ankle in the AFC Championship.
Mm-hmm. In overtime.
It seems like Sean gets these, like, I don't know if the football gods, the Bounty Gate. I don't know, man, but
I was going to say it's the Bounty Gate. It's football karma.
There is like a bad juju on Sean Payton in the postseason, and I think he's thinking, well, it's not attached to Davis Webb.
There, exactly. As we have KC in the chat. KC, what's up?
What's up,
but
KC?
Yeah, dude, like
can't
the
wait
schedule,
for week 1.
The schedule, like you said, is rough for the Broncos to begin with, and because KC's in the chat, like you said, can't wait for week 1. It's Broncos, Chiefs, then it's the Jags, then it's the Rams, then it's the Niners, then it's the Chargers, then it's the Seahawks. And then a little bit of a break with the Cardinals, who I think is going to be the worst team in the league next year. And then back to the Chiefs.
The Chargers are going to be the worst team in the league?
Cardinals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Imagine, you'd be so happy.
Yeah, I was like, dude, bold.
Yeah.
Very bold, Rick. Let's
go.
Dude,
the Broncos, they bring people back. They make great additions. Sean takes a step back because maybe he realizes the potential that Davis Webb has. What's not to like about the Broncos,
Yeah. Number 2, finished number 3 in scoring, number 2 in total, total yards given up.
Mm-hmm.
So,
defense?
Really, in defense. So, to me, it's like the Seahawks, the Texans, and the Broncos are in a tier separated from the rest of the NFL.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see this year who takes that number one. Everyone's talking about the Rams. Like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But
Mhm.
they can have a really good front. But, like, you want to go pound for pound, like, on every position on the defense, I would take our roster against anybody. So for that reason, I do have Denver winning this division, Rick. And I have Denver running it back. And not only that, but this whole year is really just about unfinished business.
Yeah.
And there's a game we should have been in last year. And anything short of going to that game this year will be a failure. I have Denver winning the AFC. I have them going to the Super Bowl. And I think it's possible they'll play the Rams. That was my Super Bowl last year, was the Rams and Broncos. We got very close to
Both
it.
got very close, yeah.
I called it. It was preseason, and I feel like, the weather was a little bit nicer and Shaheed wasn't a Seahawk. Maybe that would have happened, but we'll see. But let's move. Do you got anything else? But I will just tell you, Kansas City, Jacksonville, Rams, Niners, Chargers, Seahawks. Then they get a little break and play the Cardinals, but then they play the Chiefs. So you're all the way to November, and your only game on paper is the Cardinals. That's winnable, and whatever that means in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, man, it's going to be rough. But look, this team is like a November, December team, and then you get Raiders, Steelers, Dolphins, Jets, Raiders. I could see Denver. Like I said, all they got to do is get to like 3-3 and then win that second slot of games. Like, I mean, like they had that leverage penalty against the Colts, and they gave up a 13-point comeback to the Chargers. This team really could have gone 17-0 last year, which is crazy. They didn't lose. The Jacksonville loss was their only, we got beat today. It wasn't on us. So if we can just get to, because I know if you're a team that's like 0-2, it's the sky is falling, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you and I both know from two teams that started 0-2 last year, it means absolutely nothing if you win the next 15 in a row.
Yeah.
So, just got to get through that, winning a couple of these. And honestly, if we could just take care of business at home and beat the Rams, I think that's a big morale game. Yep. I think we could beat the Jaguars in a home opener. That's a great environment. You got to take advantage of home opener energy. And then, even if you lose to Kansas City week 1, you're 2-1. And then you got the 49ers and the Chargers. Maybe you split those and you're 3-3. And then you play the Seahawks. Maybe you'll lose that one and you're 3-4. And then you beat the Cardinals and you're 4-4. But then maybe you win 12 in a row after that.
Hey,
and you find out,
man can dream.
Last year we won 14 in a row. So it's very possible, but it's gonna be tough.
Last year you won 14 in a row?
Yeah, we didn't lose until week 17 week 16 against the Jaguars, and our last loss was week 2.
Oh, okay.
Because we lost to week 3. We lost to the Colts week 2, and then we lost to the Chargers week 3. And then we won every game until the Jaguars week 16.
Jesus Christ.
Thank you.
What an insane run that was, huh?
Yeah, should be a lot of fun. But my number 2 team in this division, I won't say yet, but let's talk about the Chiefs.
Kyle just shitted on KC just right now. We won't say yet.
I didn't even.
So let's talk about the Chiefs.
I didn't even mean to. That's the funny part.
Oh, that's funny.
The Chiefs are in a rare position of trying to return to the playoffs after failing to qualify for the postseason for the first time under Patrick Mahomes, and it's like, wow, this is breaking news. Like, the Chiefs can't get into the postseason.
Yeah.
And this has been, if you're paying attention, this has been kind of looming in the background for a while. They win all these close games, And then it's like, okay, that's not going to work. And then they get to the playoffs and they happen to play their best football in the postseason. They wouldn't even play like that all year. Then they get to the playoffs and they're winning these games and you can't even say anything about it. You're like, oh, this Chiefs team just got better in the postseason. Maybe they were saving it like LeBron does, like when he uses
load management
spurts. And then I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. And then they get molly-whopped by the Eagles in the Super Bowl. And you're like, there it is. All right. I'm not that it was like something I thought was going to happen. I thought it would be a close game. But then when it happened, it was like, okay, so they were one more game away from like defying physics.
All logic. Yeah.
And then we go into last season, and I remember we're like gearing up to go, and I'm like, what are they doing at receiver? Like, can we like really talk about this? And why is everyone cool with it? I don't understand. Their best receiver is Kelsey. Rashee Rice is out. They drafted, what's his name? Xavier Worthy. You're what is he supposed to be, like Tyreek Hill all of a sudden because he ran a good 40? Like,
yeah.
This doesn't work like that, and it never has. Like, all the fast wide receivers that have been drafted that we don't remember that ran 4.2s. One of them was drafted by the Bengals. He ran like a 4.27 or something. And gosh, I can't remember his name right now, but even he like out of the league. Yeah, no one even knows where he is. So all I'm trying to say is like I didn't see on paper how this was going to work for Kansas City last year because like Denver was in the same situation Kansas City was in with the close wins, but they're like, we need more firepower, bring in Waddle, trade our first round pick.
Exactly.
Kansas City, I don't know why they were like, let's draft a linebacker. I don't know what, I don't even know. I don't know what the thinking is with that last year. And they drafted, this is 2025, Josh Simmons, an offensive tackle. And then they drafted defensive tackle, a defensive end, a cornerback, and a receiver. They only had 5 picks, all in the first 4 rounds. But then the year before that, we talked about Xavier Worthy. Then they drafted a tackle, then a tight end in Jared Willie, and then Jaden Hicks, a safety, and a center. And then you have to go all the way to 2023 where they drafted Rashee Rice, who has been in legal battles, and then he's on probation.
Yep.
And now he's smoking weed on probation. So he has to go to jail, and then he's suspended again. And it's like, okay, so this is what Denver, and I will be very clear about this, would never tolerate this. Ever. This would never fly in our locker room. I don't care how good you are. There's a reason all of those big name free agents that people are like, I wonder why they didn't draft this guy. I wonder why they didn't bring in this guy. Don't think about it too hard. They brought him in. There was something about their character that they didn't want in the building. And Sean has told the players after every offseason, we have a duty to protect the culture of what we have. This is a strong team, and I will not bring anybody in here that will jeopardize that. I don't care how good they are, because you bring in the wrong guy, and things just Rashee Rice is not available for his team. He's not a good teammate. I'm sorry. That's just what it is. He's a great football player, but at this point, dude, you got in this car accident, you're racing, and you think like, okay, maybe he, learned something. And I'm a big second, third chance person, but if you show me like I really just don't give a shit, eventually I'm not going to either. This is kind of where I'm at with Rashee Rice. I'm just like not really invested in his like turnaround. I just don't care anymore because I'm like,
it's annoying. It's
annoying. Exactly.
It's every offseason.
So you think that there would be, why isn't Diggs coming for a workout? Obviously the call, he's got, the Cardi B. They don't care about that. They don't. Apparently, right? I mean, they don't. What about, why weren't they aggressive for George Pickens? If I was running the Chiefs I would have been so aggressive. I would have given them a first-round pick this year. I would have given them maybe a third next year. And I would have given Mahomes George Pickens and been like, here you go. And if Rashee Rice is available, now we got George Pickens and Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy. And now we got Kenneth Walker. We can talk about going back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But no, the Chiefs are going to run it back doing the same thing. And by the way, I like the Tyquan Thornton, I think his name is.
I like him too.
This guy
Yeah.
a lot. I really like him.
Yeah.
Also, the Hall of Fame game. I don't know if you saw this with the Cardinals and the Titans. This was an amazing football game.
Oh, yeah.
This receiver that's catching these deep balls and got lit up by the safety. This guy's going to be a really good football player, but then we'll talk about that later. But I like these like receivers that kind of are less known, that kind of break out. I thought Tyquan Thornton I thought he was going to do that like middle to late last season, but then Mahomes got injured. So I get if they see a lot in him, but at the same time, you're putting it all on him. That seems a little unfair. Like if Pat Bryant breaks out for us, it's awesome. But if he doesn't, we'll be all right. You know, it's not like we need him to. He will. But, you know, that's not how the Chiefs are really going about it. They're kind of like doing this thing every year where they're putting so much weight on their rookie class or their first-year players. And these guys are just not there yet, especially in the competitive AFC West. Our defense, come on. You're going to go against Patrick Surtain when you play us. Tyquan Thornton, you want him to be the number one guy now? Like, this is just not good. And then what I do like about what the Chiefs did, they bring they have Spags on defense, but on offense, they bring back Eric Bieniemy. God bless his family right now. Jeez, I mean, his wife gets shot by their son. Is there anything more twisted than that?
Wait, I did not hear that.
Oh yeah, dude. Eric Bieniemy's son shot Eric Bieniemy's wife, his mother.
What?
Yeah, he's in jail, and it's like a really screwed up situation. But
I did not know that.
Yeah, this is like reminds me of when I wasn't on Twitter, and you didn't just, there were certain things you just didn't. I
couldn't fathom. You didn't know. Yeah. I know. Yeah, that's insane.
I know this is a lot to take in. If you want to take a second.
Yeah, for sure. Holy shit.
This is like, I can't believe I just broke this to you. But anyway, look, I think this is really good for them because you look at, and everybody's doing this with the Chiefs right now. They're like looking at the years that Eric Bieniemy was with the Chiefs, and they're looking at like yards per game, points per game, and all of it is like number one or number two, number three. But what they're not considering is like Tyreek Hill was on the team. They're not considering Travis Kelce was in his prime. So, I mean, take that for what it's worth. It's still, I'm sure, an improvement over who was their OC last year? Wasn't it your old head coach that
Nagy? Yep.
Matt Nagy, who's like, I don't know, him and Nathaniel Hackett. I want to figure out how they keep getting hired. I want to do whatever they're doing because that couldn't be much worse. And this was just atrocious. They needed the change. I'm just like, my whole thing with the Chiefs right now, to be honest, is like none of it's good enough. They bring in Kenneth Walker, and it's like, oh my God, let's like take a bow now. They've won the division. It's like, hold on. I get it. He went on this run late last season, but if you pulled up his numbers before the postseason, they were wildly mediocre. They were not that great. So, I mean, yeah, he went on a great postseason run, and it's possible he's hitting his prime right now. I actually predicted that he would break out after Charbonnet went down, but I don't know. It's a very small sample size. It reminds me of when Denver brought in Case Keenum after he made the NFC Championship. And it's like, we're done looking for a quarterback, you know? It's like, oh, crap. Where is that other Case Keenum? You know, it's like, oh, you know, sometimes people, you know, why can't Nick Foles, where is he? It's like, he's not good anymore, you know?
Like, at all.
He just had a good run. So, look, I'm very weary of postseason runs. This is why Eli Manning's a weird Hall of Fame candidate, is because Eli Manning was a very postseason streaky guy where he would just like get in as a 7-9 wild card and then win the whole thing. And I don't know, like, look, that's all we got with Kenneth Walker. We got very good film on him. Like, he's a very capable player. I'm just saying, like, this is what the Chiefs are hanging their hat on this year. It is just because you take into consideration Mahomes coming back from an injury and the hiring of Bieniemy to be creative with the run schemes. This is what they're hoping, is that the Chiefs will be able to run the football very effectively, not ask Mahomes to do too much. Sorry, I went on a little long there. I didn't realize I got to pick it up a little bit.
No, all good. I was kind of with the whole Kenneth Walker thing too. I know what you're saying. I like him there because in Seattle it was always like him and Charbonnet, and it's like who's the hotter hand, right? Even when Pete Carroll was still there. I think with Bieniemy, with how he transformed the Bears run game last year as our running backs coach, like I think it's going to work really well. And I think what the thinking is here too is if we get the running game going, it opens up everyone else with Travis Kelce, even as an older gentleman player as he is, not Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy and Tyquan Thornton, like these guys, like it's going to open that up a little bit more. Honestly, even with like Rashee Rice kind of being out too for however long he's going to be out, if he is out, I could see the Chiefs doing like a 2 tight end set. Travis Kelce, Noah Gray. You know, for the most part, Noah Gray was a name you knew last year because he did have some catches here and there, touchdowns, whatever, where you were like, oh, okay, this guy looks like he may be the natural successor of Travis Kelce. It's kind of, for me, like, oddly enough, the defense looks not great for the Chiefs. Like Chris Jones is always going to be Chris Jones. They have Kyrus
on
Tonga.
The down part of his career. He's not trending up anymore.
Yeah, he's not trending up. I would say he's definitely not like on the rise or like who he was, you know, a couple seasons ago, right? When he was kind of this unstoppable force. You bring in L'Jarius Sneed, which is something that the Chiefs, I feel like, needed really bad in terms of like secondary help. But yeah, man, I could see the Chiefs.
Is he good?
Being good. That's the thing. He was also injured, I believe, with the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, I mean, they got rid of him so quick. It makes you wonder. And think this: they only had 35
sacks.
They want to pay. They only had 35 sacks, and with Spags, they were top 5 in blitz percentage, and they still only had 35 sacks. So they're not getting after the passer either, which tells you why they've drafted the defensive ends and the defensive tackles. They've drafted 2 defensive ends and 2 defensive tackles in the last 2 years trying to fix
they
this.
know that the defense is looking like it's aging and it's not as dominant really. What was I going to say? But yeah, I still think the Kansas City Chiefs, like regardless of like the regression, and clearly they didn't make the playoffs last season, regardless of that, I still think they're going to be a team that can absolutely compete for the division.
Yeah.
Even with aging guys, even with Mahomes coming off an injury, you're always going to remember the Super Bowls and the runs that they went on and be like, they're still those guys, just a little bit older. But the Rashee Rice thing, the wide receiver thing to me is like so comical sometimes where I'm just like, what exactly are we doing here? Like, is Xavier Worthy really a number one? Is Tyquan Thornton, you know, without Mahomes, like, do we always need Mahomes for Tyquan Thornton to be a good receiver? And is Rashee Rice ever going to figure his shit out, right? So it's just the wide receiver room for them is going to be like so questionable. But running backs, tight ends, and obviously Patrick Mahomes, and as long as that line continues to have Creed Humphrey and Simmons, like I think they'll be fine.
And Bucker needs to bounce back too. He missed 5 field goals last year.
Well,
also,
yeah, it's true.
The last thing I'll say about the Chiefs is Buffalo's kind of done all the things the Chiefs should have done. You know, they bring in DJ Moore. They've drafted really good tight ends. You know, which they got Noah Gray, but I don't know. Like Buffalo just closes their eyes and points at a tight end, and they're an all-star. It's amazing what they've been able to do. So
yeah.
The last thing I was going to say was that the Chiefs, the reason they'll be in the playoffs, I think they'll probably be 3 teams in the playoffs. from this division
Ooh.
is because they have a third place schedule. Now, if the
Mhm.
Chiefs are going against, the Vikings, who are you going to pick? If the Chiefs are going against the Titans or the Colts, even the Colts, like the Colts I would probably take the Colts. I don't know. But that's what I'm saying. Like the Chiefs, year after year, it's Buffalo. It's all of these, like the Rams,
Mhm.
they gotta play the top team in every division. And that was the case last year as well. This year, Denver has that role, and the Chiefs get to be what Denver was doing. Almost, they came in second last year, but Mahomes has never had a third place schedule.
Yeah.
So this is great for him. I'm going to go through the Raiders pretty quick because it's the Raiders. The Raiders. God, what can I say? All right, I'm being a little mean. It's a division team, but the Raiders, their thing with Genty, I'm going to go ahead and say didn't work last year. Genty came into the league as like the biggest thing, and I said that it probably wasn't going to work because the Raiders drafted him. I know it sounds so harsh, but it's just what happens when the Raiders draft people. I don't know if it's the culture, their program, the changing coaches. Like Pete Carroll came in looking more like Joe Biden than Pete Carroll of 2013. I don't know what that was, to be honest. Last year, like Pete Carroll should not have done that. It was like he's bless his heart. I love the elderly people, and I love that they want to be working because I do think it's what's best for them. But I don't think it's what was best for the Raiders. And the Raiders, it seems like it's been a very long time. It's really only been 2021 since they snuck in as a wild card team with 10-7 record. But
yeah, with Carr.
Yeah, but it feels like a long time ago.
It does.
But now they bringing Kubiak.
Yep.
And they draft Fernando Mendoza, who
Yep.
I guess he's not going to start over Kirk O'Chains, who's getting in a fight with
Max Crosby. Yeah, they're getting at it.
I love it.
I want more.
But also, it's like Max Crosby's literally fighting to get out of Las Vegas.
Yep.
I just think this is another one of those years where you're like, kind of like the Cardinals 2 years ago, where it's like they're getting the pieces, but let's really not kid ourselves and entertain like division. This is not where the team is. And today, I would say the Raiders are just trying to figure out what they have at coach, at quarterback, at running back. They bring in the receiver from Hollins from New England. Right, he was with New England last year. Mac Hollins.
Are you sure?
Pretty sure. Not anymore, but I was.
No, I don't see him on the depth chart.
Well, I was sure. Okay.
I'll double check because I may be wrong. So let me.
I might be. Yeah, I don't know.
Mac Hollins, right?
But I mean, you look at their last. I mean, look, they drafted Tyree Wilson 7 overall. You remember that? That was like, and that was like, what are they doing? But their last 3 picks in the first round, if they all work out, the Raiders are going to in the future be a playoff team.
Yeah.
Because if Fernando Mendoza, Ashton Genty, and we already know Brock Bowers.
Yep.
If they all are what they were projected to be, this team's going to be back in it.
Yeah.
That's how fast they can turn around.
Yeah.
Ask me. Spend 10 years in the dark looking for a quarterback, and then one quarterback changed our whole thing, and one coach. And they're hoping they have the coach, but honestly, I don't have a ton. The Raiders went 3-14 last season. There's always room to get worse, but I think every logical expectation should be that they get better, that they take another step because of the coaching last year, because of the changes that they've made with their personnel. A lot of people are predicting that the Broncos won't win 14 games again. you're talking division wins. Maybe the Raiders are always good for stealing a game against us. Hopefully not. But you got the Chiefs, who also probably rebound from 6 wins, so maybe that evens out. I don't know. But Mendoza, Genti, Kubiak, this is going to be a more efficient, higher scoring offense from – I don't think people realize how bad this was. They averaged 14 points a game last year. So this really is one of those situations where it can't get worse. And if it does, like, I'll hold my beer. I don't think so. I think they'll be able to get a little bit better, but I think just those changes alone, I don't think we're looking at like a 7-6 game jump, but I think like 3 to 4 win jump. Maybe they get to like 6 or 7 wins. But of course, this is what we say every off season with a team like the Raiders, the Cardinals, like you name it, the Dolphins. I don't think they'll win 3 games. We don't think anyone will ever win 3 games. We think those teams will win 6 or 7.
And we were so right last offseason about the Raiders. We're like, Pete Carroll, Geno Smith. Yeah, they're bringing Ashton Genti, but behind what line? And they won 3 games. Remember when Berger was in here? Just like, what do you mean? Blah, 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 blah. Like, we nailed the Raiders, like season, 25 season. Oh.
Yeah, and it makes you wonder why they got rid of Josh Jacobs when it's like, you guys are not good at drafting talent. So when you draft somebody and he's good, you should probably just hang on to him, Yeah,
And look, the Raiders I'll say a few things about the Raiders too, and then we can get going to the Chargers. The Raiders are doing moves that make sense now. They bring in their general manager Spytek, right? This guy, he drafted Genti. He's drafting Mendoza. He's making all the moves now. On defense alone, he brought in Quay Walker and I believe Nakobe Dean. He beefed up their linebacking core. These are guys that on the Packers, on the Eagles, like you were always pointing out, and they were always making a play, or they were always at least looking very consistent and never lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
So you put those 2 guys with Max Crosby, and Max Crosby kind of finally probably feels like, my God, I've got competent people behind me on the defense, right? So like
you're selling me on the Raiders right now.
I'm saying, dude, we do this to every team on every division, but especially when they're a loser like the Raiders are. Like they brought in some pieces, and Spytek is the reason as to why. And Spytek did the most important thing is he brought in Kubiak, who just had an awesome season as an offensive coordinator with the Seahawks, and he brings him in as a head coach. Why? Because he knows that for his team to move forward, he needs one of these younger minds, especially in the offensive side, to pair with a guy with Fernando Mendoza, who he just drafted. Like this is a beautiful, kind of way of going about this organization, especially again because it's the Raiders. Spytek came in, he's like, okay, I know what I'm gonna do, and one of those moves was. Or actually, it was not getting rid of Jacobs. I think they did that prior the season prior to him being hired. But he comes in and he's like, okay, Pete Carroll, Geno Smith, if this is the best we can do, okay, then let's do it. And then what happened after 1 year? Yeah, we're never doing that again. You know why? Because I could pick up a much better option at head coach who's an offensive coordinator who doesn't command the money that Pete Carroll was probably commanding. And he's like, and I'm going to bring in a rookie quarterback. And on top of that rookie quarterback, I'm going to bring in a veteran who their team, the Falcons, are probably going to eat up so much of his contract because they want to get rid of him that I'm technically saving money by bringing it in. This is what the Bears didn't do in Caleb Williams' first year. And this is what all GMs and all teams should be looking at. If you've got a rookie quarterback or if you got a year 2 quarterback who's still not there yet, bring in a veteran presence at quarterback, whether he's going to play or whether he's a third stringer. That time in history in the NFL matters. So the Raiders have been doing very, very solid, almost logical moves that you're almost looking at this is this the Raiders? Is this the Las Vegas Raiders?
Tom Brady's there now. So
and Tom Brady. Yeah, Tom Brady makes a huge, huge impact as well. And I think you put all those minds together and you come up with what the Raiders are right now. I don't expect any jump either, like a 7-10 game division winning type of jump like some teams had last year under their new head coaches. But I'm talking about 5-6 win season. And on top of that, the offense looks like it's like an NFL offense. It looks like it moves the ball down the field. It gets first downs. And when needed, it can possibly be clutch, right? The wide receiver room is the biggest question mark. Jalen Naylor, Jack Beck, Trey Tucker. Those are the three. That's the biggest question mark is that wide receiver room. Ashton Genty, yeah, he wasn't great last season, but again, they weren't really using him like they needed to. I feel like the offensive line made a huge upgrade. So that's something that you could look at too, especially with Tyler Linderbaum at center. I think they're making a lot of logical moves that is going to move the team forward, but I just don't see them going anywhere above 7 wins. They get to 7, it'll be very impressive. What Raiders fans and what the NFL should be looking at is how they're doing in games. That's going to be the biggest tell if they're moving forward or backwards. I still got them 4th in the division though this year.
Very impressive insight. And if they don't move the ball well, at least they have AJ Cole. You guys might not know this. AJ Cole, their punter, is not only a 3-time Pro Bowler, but he is the NFL leader in all of NFL history in average punt distance.
Wow.
He has a 48.9 highest yardage average per punt. And I mean, rightfully so, right? The guy's practicing more than any other punter in the league. He's out there probably 20 times a game punting the football. But that's what makes it so impressive because there's so much room for his average to go down. For instance, if they're like on the 50-yard line, you can't punt it 50 yards because you'll kick it a touchback. But that tells you how bad their offense is, that they're always – hey, punt it as far as you can. That means that they didn't even cross midfield, and they're punting it all the time. So
that's such a good point, dude.
This is such a mind-blowing stat if you read between the lines. The other thing I'll say is like the Raiders, even 2023, they were 8-9, but they went 4-2 in the division. The Raiders are a tough division team. What stands out to me is that they've won one division game in the last 2 years. They're 1-13 in division games the last 2 seasons. So even years where they're 8-8 in 2020, they went 4-2 in the division. So they gotta find a way to be more competitive within their division. It might surprise even more to know that the Chiefs and Raiders both went 1 and 5 in the division last year.
Bears won, I think, 2 division games and still won the division. It was insane.
That is insane. That is like a really weird, especially in that division.
I know, right? I was like, what?
The Los Angeles Chargers, perhaps the most hyped, overrated team in NFL history. Justin Herbert, is he a franchise quarterback? Is he a top 5 quarterback? Why is he so much better than Jalen Hurts, who has a Super Bowl MVP? I don't know. But he's been in 3 playoff games. He's one in
He hasn't won a playoff game.
2 in the playoffs, I believe.
Did he win one?
I believe so. I believe he won a wild card game.
Oh, okay.
But he's like thrown 2 touchdowns and like 4 picks in these games. I just posted it today because the Chargers. There was that famous interview with young Metro. Metro Boomin, and he said, what was the word he used? It was like spectacular or
Ofer in the playoffs.
It was sensational. And
that's future.
It was future. You're right.
Yeah,
and this is what they posted. They're like, football's back, sensational. So of course I responded with this 0-3 in the playoffs, and then 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions in 3 games. 0-3. You're right. He's never won a playoff game. And then I kept the sensational part. But all jokes aside, this is kind of it for Justin Herbert, because we saw what Mike McDaniels did when he went in and got Tua and turned him into the NFL leading passing guard.
Yep.
Now you're and I think this is good for Justin Herbert, because I didn't feel like Harbaugh was using Justin Herbert. It was weird. It was like the game was over, and you look at the box score, and it's like Justin Herbert, 169 passing yards, and they won, 17-12.
Yeah.
And like, is Justin Herbert that kind of? This is like Russell Wilson in 2023 with Denver. Why are the Chargers winning like that with Justin Herbert? This guy broke the record for 5,000-yard seasons. Now you're throwing the ball 13 times a game. I don't get it. Because you have quarterbacks where it's like, hey, adjust the system to the quarterback, and this is all we're gonna do to win. But then you have it's like rain. That's my ringtone. But then you have your quarterbacks like Justin Herbert, where it's like, why are you playing that style of football with him? Maybe you don't want him to get hurt. I don't know. But I don't think Mike McDaniels is going to be as reserved and conservative with Justin Herbert. And also, I think they're going to be a lot more creative running the ball. Also, they have a very good running back in Omarion Hampton. Omarion Hampton's really good. Okay. The reason I don't have the Chargers winning this division is very simple. They don't have enough playmakers. They don't. Ladd McConkey, I don't know if he's a wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
He's not a clear wide receiver 1. Omarion Hampton's really good. I like Kamani Vidal. Quentin Johnston never took that leap. I don't expect him to. It would have happened by now. Then, Gadsden was kind of like, oh, that's a good find. But, like, what are we doing? Honestly, I think the Chargers have been making the most with what they have, and it's made us forget about what they don't have. And this is what Kansas City did so well before last year. I'm noticing when I'm comparing rosters that they don't have a lot of weapons. And this is probably the answer to my kickoff question of why they're playing the style of football that they're playing. Well, this is what they do. This is what they have. They use their last 2 first-round picks on offensive linemen, Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater. And then they get Omarion Hampton. What did you think they were going to do? Throw it 50 times a game? I get it. But at the same time, why are the Chargers not bringing in? Why weren't they more aggressive for DJ Moore? Why aren't they drafting wide receivers? They on the first pick, they get a linebacker, then a center. Then they did get Brennan Thompson. By the way, Brennan Thompson, one of my favorite wide receivers in this class. So I don't know, even the receivers I like, I don't expect them to be like, oh, okay, now they have a weapon. I don't know if he's going to work right away, but I do think overall he's going to be like a number 1 guy. I think this was a 4th round pick. And this is somebody that I was every single pick hoping that he would fall to Denver. And of course, usually those players go to a division rival. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, Brennan Thompson is so nice. Wait till you see this guy. This guy's good. He's fast. He's big. He's going to be amazing. I think. I hope not now. I
hope he sucks.
Yeah, I hope he's not. Yeah, at least against us. I hope he works out, but just not against us. But Khalil Mack playing great football.
Still
playing great football.
Not fair.
The Chargers had the number 8 run defense in the NFL last year. 105 average rushing yards allowed per game. They have one of the top run stuffers up front in the 3-4 end in Tierra Tart. They also have Delvin Tomlinson, who still has stuff to contribute at the nose position. They have good play out of Khalil Mack. Like I said, they bring back a great run defender in Khalil Mack. I still think the Chargers are going to be a tough team to run against. They also have Derwin James, who is going to clean anything up that goes through those guys. At safety, I believe Derwin James is the best safety in the NFL, bar none. And then you got at special teams, the most accurate kicker of all time in Cameron Dicker, the kicker.
The kicker.
94.3% of his field goals go in. What else can you say about him? I mean, the guy makes all of his kicks. And then I think the bottom line with the Chargers, because I got to go to work, and then I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna kick it back to you. I don't think anyone should be surprised if this is another 11-6 season for the Chargers. No one should be surprised if the record is good enough to win the West. But here's what might surprise you. I don't think anyone should be shocked either if this team accidentally wins 9 games. I think this is a team that is distracting us with Mike McDaniels, which I think was the best coaching acquisition this offseason for any team. I mean, Harbaugh and Mike McDaniel together, I just want to mic'd up watch that. I just want to hear them talking to each other. I bet each person starts a new conversation when they go back and forth.
Yep.
And I just think it would be really stupid to undersell like how good these two coaches really are. And I wonder if they'll be able to do great things together. I wonder if it's going to work, or if they're too, if they both need their own team,
I see what you're saying.
I guess all in all, I just have a lot of questions about the way they're going to win football games. I assume they want to keep the score very low and win these kind of 13-20, 13-17 type games. But, defense is kind of beaten offense the last couple of years. And I'm kind of expecting offense to take a leap this year. And I'm expecting the average points to win a football game to be around 24, 25 this year. And I don't know if the Chargers are going to be putting up those kind of points on a weekly basis, but I wouldn't be shocked if they do. I still am way more confident about this team than I am the Chiefs.
Okay.
And I know this is crazy because for the Chiefs, man, they're really just hoping that as far as Mahomes' career goes, that what's happening right now is, more of a reboot, and they're going to have chance at multiple rings again. Kansas City doesn't believe they're done winning Super Bowls, but if they finish third again, then you kind of start looking at this as if maybe this isn't a speed bump, but maybe they need to change a lot of things. So this is interesting because if the Chargers and Broncos are the best two teams in this division, where does it leave the Chiefs for the future? I got Denver winning the division. I think they're going to win the division with 12 wins.
Oh, okay.
I don't think anyone's going to win 14 games in this division. I think there's going to be a lot of beating each other up. The Chargers got us, we got the Chargers, Chiefs got the Raiders, Raiders got a weird one on Denver. I think it's going to be a lot of that. And I think you're looking at like the Chargers with 11 wins, Denver with 12 wins, Kansas City with 9 to 10 wins, and the Raiders with, 5 to 6 wins.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I got the division going. I got to go to work tomorrow. I'm going to be live outside of the Atlanta Falcons Stadium doing interviews with Bronco fans. I'll be at their first preseason game. Apparently, Bo Nix is playing. So
okay.
I'm also going to be at the tunnel where he's coming out at. So stay tuned for that. And Rick, bring us home.
All right, brother. See ya.
See ya.
All right, guys. Sorry about that. Real quick, as Kyle gets up out of here, going to work. So with the Chargers, a lot of the things that Kyle was saying, I was agreeing with. The biggest thing for me was the addition of Mike McDaniel coming in as the offensive coordinator. Clearly, it was the best, kind of like what Kyle said earlier. It's the best coaching acquisition, best move for Mike McDaniels, in my opinion, to move to a place with the Chargers. And, when he first started with Miami, it seemed like Tua at the time was like a project quarterback. And for the most part, at least his first couple of years, it did seem like it. But then obviously he went on a tear with him. Yeah, Tyreek Hill. Yeah, Jalen Waddle. I forget exactly who the running backs were, but like that team did have some weapons. Now moving to the Chargers, Mike McDaniel has a quarterback in Justin Herbert, who is a solidified top quarterback in the league, top 10, top 12, whatever you want to call him. He is that talented where he can finally be the guy that Mike McDaniels is looking at and being like, okay, I can work with this guy and we can make something happen. And that's what I think is going to happen. I think this offense will take a huge leap in terms of points being scored. For me, that's kind of what I'm thinking it's going to be like, where it is just a very, very good type of offense, whether it is something that an offense is scoring, 20 points or even a little bit higher, closer to 30. Can they get there? They've got the quarterback to do so, right? And I know that the weapons around him aren't necessarily the best. We talked about Ladd McConkey, talked about Quentin Johnson, and how last year it wasn't necessarily what you were expecting. There was a couple games where Quentin Johnson was making like these big catches or was able to bring the ball down in tough situations, and people were looking at that like, yes, finally he is being like unveiled, or he is becoming who we thought he was. But the Greg Roman offense was just never something that was going to work. I think I even said it when Harbaugh was first hired as the Chargers head coach, and he brought in Greg Roman. I was like, well, what are you going to do with Greg Roman? Greg Roman hasn't been a good offensive name to look at for years. Yeah, he was, I believe he was with the Ravens for a time, and it just was not like good ever. Like it just, the best way it was described, something I read, was his offensive scheme, or his offense in general, is stale. It's just it's time to move on, right? Like it is time to just move on from Greg Roman. And finally, Harbaugh said, "You know what? You're right. Let's move on from this. Let's get out of here. Let's move forward with the offenses of today." And when you bring in Mike McDaniels, obviously you've got the fact that he was basically fired from Miami because he couldn't get it going. I think it's just going to be that much better for Mike McDaniels to step down on the offensive coordinator side, to work with Omari Hampton, to work with Justin Herbert, and honestly, to work with Ladd McConkey and Quentin Johnson. Like, I think if he can get his hands on these two guys and be like, this is what I want you to do, this is how I want you to continue your careers and this offense, then they can do it. I really think that they can do it in terms of making moves forward, I guess, in successfully forward enough where this offense can be feared, because we know the defense is stacked for the most part. Tuli Pukotu. That's what I was making sure I got correct. One of the linebackers. Kyle mentioned Dalvin Thomas at one point. Like, and then obviously Khalil Mack and Derwin Jones. Like, these are guys that you don't necessarily have to name, but it's always sick to be like, he's on my roster too, right? So I think this is a very, very good roster that they have. It's just kind of like what Kyle said. Can they get out of their own head in terms of, let's maybe score more points? Let the defense has been doing really, really well, but let's score more points. Let's obviously get this going to a point where we can be a feared a team on the offensive side, because last year it seemed like some games were going for it, and just then after that, for the most part, it just wasn't. And then towards the end of the season, just tailed off. But with that being said, I think the addition of Mike McDaniels is the best part. And Kyle may be mad at me. Kyle may watch this later and be like, is Rick for real right now? I've got the Chargers winning the AFC West. Kyle, if you're watching this afterwards, just to see what are Rick's picks here for the AFC West division. Unfortunately, Kyle, I've got to say that the Chargers are winning the 2026 AFC West division crown. Kyle's going to watch this later and be like, are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? I got the Chargers, I've got the Broncos, I've got the Chiefs, and then I've got the Raiders. Broncos and Chargers, it'll come down to their last divisional game. Whoever wins that last divisional game will win the division. Whether that is, and let me see here, Yeah, it is week 18. So whoever wins that game will win the division 2026 AFC West. I've got the Chargers, the Broncos, the Chiefs, and the Rams. I still think Denver makes the playoffs, though. I still think the Denver makes the playoffs. I just think the Chargers win it because of the coaching staff addition with Mike McDaniels. Like Jim Harbaugh knows when to move on. He already made that decision with the coaching staff. And now he's going to see the fruits of his labor this season with a division win in the AFC West with Justin Herbert. If he isn't too busy kissing Madison Beer on the field after practice. But that is going to be the winner of the AFC West. Is going to be the Chargers. Kyle, I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you're watching this. I'm sorry. But I got the Chargers. I got the Broncos, who still make the playoffs. And then the Chiefs. And then the lowly Raiders. Thank you guys so much. That was our AFC West preview and prediction. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Who do you guys have winning the division? Put it in the chat right here. Kyle goes, my favorite NFL channel to listen to on my drive to work. Never mind, I hate this channel and it has terrible analysts. I love you, Kyle. You know I love you. Broncos still make the playoffs. Ginger, you have a good week as well. Thank you guys, everybody. Ginger, Casey, both you guys were in here. Thank you guys for tuning in with me and Kyle. Go and follow us on X at Only Football Pod and at NFL with Kyle. Obviously, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button here on YouTube to catch all of our live streams from here on out until the season begins. And then we're going to be live streaming games. It's preseason already. Then we had the Tennessee Titans beating the 49ers in the third quarter with less than 3 minutes left, 16-10. Preseason is here. Football is back, ladies and gentlemen. Football is back. You think Rick would learn from last season, but alas, he doesn't. We shall see. We need the season to play out, but we shall see. Thank you guys again. Hit that like button, subscribe, follow us on X. And as always, great time. So we will see you guys next week.